One of the reasons people stay stuck, it's because they believe that changing directions or starting over actually means starting again. It could be a new relationship or a new business or a new job, or you're moving cities perhaps. But just because you're starting over doesn't mean you're going back to the start. It doesn't mean that you've lost everything and you have to start from zero, to begin at the very, very start. You haven't lost anything. You're not actually starting over. You're actually starting wiser. Think about a chef who all of a sudden becomes a teacher, or a corporate executive who wants to open a cafe. They're not starting from nothing. They're actually bringing with them potentially decades of experience and knowledge. That's how we have to reframe starting over. You're not starting from scratch. Everything that you've done, everything that you've been through, good and bad, has added to the lessons that you've learned from your life, will help shape what you build going forward. So it's actually a bonus. You have a good foundation. You know what you don't want to do. You know what you do want to do. You know the successes, you know the failures. You're going to avoid certain pitfalls in the future because of what you've been through in the past. All of your life, you are learning. You are building towards something. So if you need to change direction, if you need to pivot and change course, then that's great. You're not throwing everything out. And that idea that starting over means starting from scratch and throwing everything out is just simply not true. And yet it holds so many people back. Lots of people ask me about some of the transitions and the changes that I've made in my life. How I've gone from working with brands to working with people. How I've gone from working in corporate world to working in art and in galleries. And they speak about this as though they're completely different lives. As though these people are bewildered how I could have made such a shift. But I don't see it in that way. A lot of the lessons that I have used in building brands and transforming brands, I now use to transform people, and I use them myself. The lessons I've learned in running businesses and in working for businesses have helped me to run my own business. We're always learning, and I've always been learning. And it hasn't just been in terms of my career, in my life. If you've seen some of my other videos, you would have heard me talk about my upbringing, where we moved cities every couple of years, where we had to make new friends, start new schools, constantly starting over in the traditional sense. And yet, every time I brought with me new experiences, new knowledge, new ways of seeing the world that helped me when I got into those new environments, helped me to build and create what I wanted to actually create. Because we never actually stop learning. You can never start from scratch. You can never have a truly clean slate. It's just impossible. You'll always carry with you some lessons from your previous life. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to hide. In fact, you should celebrate it, because those lessons, even those mistakes, are going to help you moving forward. Remember, mistakes aren't always negative. They can actually teach you a lot. Yeah, it might not have been great at the time. Yeah, it may not have resulted in the outcome that you wanted, but there's a lesson in there. Remember, either you win or you learn. Apply that logic. See how making this change, changing direction, starting over can actually help you to achieve the things that you want, and how your current position, where you are right now today, is actually an asset that should be celebrated and should actually give you the encouragement to make that change. Because like I said at the start of the video, I know a lot of us stay stuck because we're scared of starting again. But instead, reframe it. Think of the positivity. Think of all the lessons that you've learned, all of those great assets that you now have at your disposal, that great knowledge that you can draw upon, to make sure that as you go into this next chapter, as you start this next story, you can write it as you want to write it. That's an amazing thing, and it should encourage you to make the change. You know, we spend so much of our lives thinking, what if I have to start over? I'm worried about starting again. I'm worried about losing everything. But what about if instead we actually ask ourselves, what if everything I've been through up until this point is preparing me for now, is preparing me for this next chapter? Isn't that a far more powerful reframing? And it's not just hearsay, it's not just make-believe, it is the truth. Everything that you've been through up until this point is preparing you for now, is preparing you for this exact moment and what you want to do next, that first step you want to take in that new direction. All of your life up until now has been preparing you for that moment. So take it. You know, trees don't start over every spring. Every year they grow from the same roots. They stretch a little bit taller. They reach in new ways. They sprout new sprouts. They look a bit different year to year, but they're always built on the same foundation. And maybe we need to think about that in our own lives. Build upon what's come before and actually create something different and not be afraid of that. Embrace it. I hope this video has been helpful to you today, especially if you're asking yourself, is it too late to start over? Because it isn't. It's never too late. And in fact, think about all of the lessons that you've learned and how they're going to help you build what you want to build next. I think when you reflect on it, you'll see that you do have a lot of learnings that you can deploy so that you can have an even greater chance of achieving and building the life that you want to build. Thank you again for watching. I can't wait to speak to you again in the next video. I'll talk to you soon.